Some problems become super simple to solve as soon as you are able to identify what data structure to take advantage of. This is a perfect such example. Let's see what we can do about it. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. First, I will explain the problem statement and we will look at some sample test cases. Going forward, we will start off with a brute force approach and see how you can approach this problem. After that, we will identify what is the actual problem and how by using a priority queue, we can come up with an efficient solution. After that, as usual, we will also do a dry run of the code so that you can understand and visualize how all of this is actually working in action. Without further ado, let's get started. This problem is written in a very tricky way, but it is actually very simple. So let's make sure that we are understanding it correctly. What you are given is, you are given an array of integers that represent some weight of some stones, and you are playing a certain game. What do you have to do? You take the two heaviest stones and smash them together. So for example, I have a stone that is the weight of 5 kg and then I have a stone that is the weight 3 kg. You smash them together and then whatever is the difference, the stone becomes of that difference. So 5 minus 3 is 2. And now instead of that 2 stones, I have one new stone of 2 kg and that gets added to the pile back. If the stones were of equal kg, let us say 4 kg and 4 kg, you smash them and then you don't have any stone remaining. So that is the idea. You keep on continuing to do this process until only one stone is left. And you have to return the weight of this last stone. And also, if no stones are left, then you have to return 0 as your answer. So for example, I have my first test case over here, correct? And what do? You look at the two heaviest stones. I will have 8 and a 7. When you smash them together, 8 minus 7 gives you 1. So these two stones will get converted to just one stone. And the new stones that I have are 2, 4, 1, 1 and 1. So 2 is intact, 4 is intact, both of these ones are intact. And instead of 7 and 8, I have a new stone that is 1. So this is how the number of stones will keep on reducing and you have to find the ultimate answer. Once again, take the two heavy stones, that is 4 and 2. So 4 minus 2 gives you a 2. So now I have the 3 stones, 2, 1, 1 and 1. Once again, repeat the same process, 2 and 1. 2 minus 1 gives you a 1. So I have 3 stones remaining, 1, 1, 1. Now, what are the two heaviest stones? You can take any stone. If you smash them together, 1 minus 1 gives you a 0. So this stone has now gone. You are remaining with only one stone. So this is where you stop. And what is the weight of the last stone? That is 1. So for the first test case, 1 is your answer. Similarly, if you look at the second test case, I have 3 stones of equal weight, correct? Now, you have to pick the two largest weights. Just take any stone and then smash them together. You get 1 minus 1 and that is a 0. So these two stones will disappear and you will be remaining with just one stone. So naturally, you have to stop over here. And for the second test case, once again, 1 is your answer, right? So this is what the problem statement actually means. If you want to take a stab at it again, feel free to pause the video right over here. Otherwise, let us dive into the solution. Okay, now, over here, I have a sample test case. And now you begin to play the game. As soon as you see this test case, there are a certain things that start coming to your mind. You have to pick the two heaviest stones, correct? So the first approach that should come to your mind is, okay, I will start to traverse the array and then find out, okay, these are the two heaviest stones. So in the first iteration, you see that, okay, 8 is the heaviest stone. And in the second iteration, you will see that, okay, 7 is the heaviest stone. You find their difference, you get a 1, and then you will put this 1 again back in your array, correct? So what are you doing? These two elements will be gone and you will have 1 in the array. So in the next iteration, what will you do? Again, you will start to traverse the array and see that, okay, 4 is the heaviest stone. You will do one more iteration and see, okay, 2 is the heaviest stone. So 4 minus 2 will give you a 2. And then this 2 will be inserted back in your array. So what are you doing over here? You are repeating the calculation again and again, right? So what happens in this scenario is, to find out the two heaviest stones, you do 2 iterations, right? So 2n. And then you have to do this n number of times. So what do I get? 2n multiplied by n. And that gives you a time complexity of order of n square. So this is the worst case time complexity. That means there cannot be a solution that is even poorer than this. You will take at least this much time if you are going by this particular approach, right? So naturally, that is not what we want. We want to improve this. And how do you improve it? Try to identify what is your bottleneck. Why are you facing a lot of time? You have to keep on finding out what is the largest element in your array, right? So the next step that comes to your mind is, okay, what if I sort this array? As soon as you sort this array starts to look something like this. As soon as you sort your array, things suddenly start to improve, right? Because now, if you have to identify that, hey, what are my heaviest stones? They will be at the beginning of the array, right? Because your array is in a decreasing order. But what happens when you do a subtraction? You do 8 minus 7 and that gives you a 1. Now, the tricky part is you have to place this 1 again back in your array. And once again, this should be sorted. So again, you will try to sort the array. So what are you doing? For sorting, you can do a time complexity of order of n log n, right? That is via the merge sort algorithm. But you are sorting again and again after inserting more and more elements. So that means you have to sort this array n more times again. So what does this change the complexity to? Once again, your complexity changes to order of n square. And that is how we are again back at the original scenario where our time complexity wasn't good enough. We want something that is better than order of n square, correct? So this is where we take the advantage of a priority queue data structure. Because think about it, where we are wasting most of our time. We are wasting our time to sort the array again and again and to identify that, okay, this is my maximum element at every instance, correct? And priority queue actually helps you to solve that. What happens in a priority queue is you have a queue that looks like a regular queue, but this priority queue gets sorted automatically. So what you do is take all of your elements and add it to your priority queue. Once these elements get added to your queue, they will be in a descending order. So I have 8, then a 7, then a 4, then a 2, then a 2, and then a 1 again. Now look at it. If you have to find out the two biggest elements, what do? You just pop out two elements from your queue and you get 8 and 7. Find the difference and you get a 1. The advantage of a priority queue is that if you will try to put this element back in your queue, it will automatically go in a sorted order. So your queue will end up looking something like this. This makes things super simple, correct? Once again, what do? To repeat the step, just pop out two elements. You get 4 and then you get a 2. So 4 minus 2 will again give you a 2 and then put this element back in your priority queue. This will automatically be in a sorted order and then you can continue ahead. Once again, take out two elements. 2 minus 2 will give you a 0, so don't do anything. And then you will be left with two more elements. Just take them out, smash those stones, and you will get a 0. So for this particular test case, 0 will be your answer. So what are we doing? We take our priority queue and add all the elements to this queue. Now, take the two elements and find the difference. If the difference is greater than 0, add the element again to your queue and they will automatically be in a descending order. If the difference is 0, don't do anything and repeat this process. Keep on doing this until you have only one stone remaining. And that's it. Just pop it out and that will be your answer. So based upon this idea, let us quickly do a dry run of the code. On the left side of your screen, you will have the complete code to implement this technique. And on the right, I have a sample test case that is passed in as an input parameter to the function last stone weight. If you remember, what was the first thing that we do? First of all, we create a priority queue which stores all of my elements in a reverse order. Once I have my priority queue ready, what I do next is I add all of these elements to my priority queue. And once these elements get added, my priority queue starts to look something like this. I now have all of the elements available and now is the time to play my game. What do? I start a while loop and I will go until I have at least 2 stones available, right? Because you have to stop either when only 1 stone is remaining or none of the stones are remaining, correct? And then what do? You get the 2 heaviest stones. So this will give me 8 and a 7. The next step is find the difference. 8 minus 7 is 1. Since the difference is not 0, I will add this element back to my queue, correct? Since the difference is not 0, what I will do is I will add this element back to my queue and it will be in a descending order. If the difference had been a 0, I don't do anything and none of the elements will get added to your queue. So this is how you're maintaining the rules of the game. This while loop will run again and this time you're gonna pop out the next two elements. Keep on repeating this process and at the very end, if your queue is completely empty, that means all the stones have been smashed, so you return a 0. Otherwise, just return whatever element was remaining in the queue. The time complexity of this particular solution will be order of n log n because that is the time taken by your priority queue. And the space complexity of this solution will also be order of n because you need that extra space to maintain your priority queue. I hope the problem statement and its solution are now super clear to you. We just saw that as soon as you apply the priority queue data structure, this problem becomes super simple, right? Similarly, there is one more data structure that you can take advantage of, and that is the min heap data structure. What happens is you maintain kind of a binary tree and the minimum element is always on the top. Similarly, you can also have a max heap data structure. So the maximum element will always be on the top. So these are two data structures which make this problem super simple. And it will be very handy if you can come up with both the structures when you see this problem in an interview. Your interviewer will be really impressed. So while going through the video, did you face any problems? Or do you know about any other such problems which become super simple as soon as you are able to identify the data structure? So tell me everything in the comment section below and I would love to discuss all of it with you. As a reminder, if you found this video helpful, please do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This keeps me motivated and I can make more such videos. Also, a huge shout out to all the members who support my channel. You guys really keep me going. And as a member, you do get priority reply to your comments as well. Stay tuned for my upcoming videos. Until then, see ya.